What is up, TSFL Nation? I'm back with another reaction, and this is a first take video, and this is Stephen A. says the Lakers should get Paul George right now. So, as you guys know, yesterday Paul George said that he's going to leave Indiana after the season, and it's like the worst timing for the Pacers because that means his trade value is going to go down. And that means that no one's going to pick him up except for maybe the Cavs. But why would the Cavs want to get Paul George if Paul George is going to stay for 1 year? So the Cavs, I don't see them getting them. There's so many teams that I think might try to get him. But they're going to see if Paul George wants to stay. But Paul George want to go to LA, it seems like. That's what the sources are saying. That he wants to go to LA, and if he goes to LA, then he'll sign for the max. So, whatever time's best for the Lakers, if they can put down the salary cap and they can bring a player in there, then they should make the move. But let's see what they gotta say.
Should the Lakers go get Paul George right now?
Without question. The only thing that they should not do is forfeit the number 2 overall pick.
Yep.
You can get him potentially without having to surrender that. Outside of that, I don't care about the young assets they already have on their squad. I don't care about the prospective free agents.
Shit, give him D'Angelo Russell, maybe.
The fact of the matter is, in terms of a two-way player, Paul George is one of the elite players in the game. He's averaged better than 23 points per game over the last 2 seasons. This past season, it was that on better than 46% shooting and more than 6 assists per game, rather 6 rebounds. So when you look at it from that perspective and what he's capable of doing, and the fact that he's capable of playing on both ends of the floor, and plus I think he's only like 26 years old, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
This guy still has about a decade left of basketball in him. So assuming
I don't even know if he's in his prime yet.
Go out and I would try to get him right now. There's no question in my mind. He's got all the requisite skills. He can defend the 1, 2, or 3 spot as a defender. He can play the 2 or the 3 as a guard. There's nothing to think about as far as I'm concerned. If I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, this is a guy that wants to be there, considering how moribund they've been over the last few years or so, how they're on the, they got to work just to be on the come up. This is a guy who wants to wear the purple and gold, which is not something that they could say about Los Angeles Lakers over the last couple of years or so. You go out, and if you have an opportunity to get this man, you get this man. You don't give up the number 2 pick to get him. But outside of that,
get Lonzo. The Lakers need to get Lonzo Ball, and then they need to get Paul George.
The hell with them. Goodbye, good riddance. We've got an opportunity to get Paul George. We should get him.
Yep.
I understand that point of view, but it's wrong. Paul George is an excellent player. We know that. He's never going to be as good as LeBron James is right now, as good as Kevin Durant is right now, even as good as Kawhi Leonard, even though they're similar in certain respects, but Kawhi is a better version of Paul George. I do not think Paul George will, and Paul George is a great player, 2 ways, as you said, can shoot, can defend, do everything you need him to do. But he's unlikely to ever be as good as Kawhi Leonard is right now.
Okay.
Those are the wing players with whom he
That's
will compete.
debatable,
So you got the 4th best wing player at best that you want to trade for. Now, he's an excellent asset to have. He is worth, you know how I always say, is a guy worth a max contract. He is worth a max contract, and maybe then some even. You maybe even get a deal with him on a max contract. But that doesn't mean you make the trade for him. Why not? Well, the logic seems to be if LeBron wants to go to L.A. and he wants Paul George there, you get Paul George now, worry about it later, then you have LeBron and Paul George at a certain point and you figure it out, you'll be fine. LeBron and Paul George, by the time LeBron's in his age 34 season, that's not enough to beat the Warriors. Not enough. I mean, the Cavs, even with Paul George right now, probably not enough to beat the Warriors. So that's not going to be enough. And what's the end game here? A championship. Look, some of the criticism of Paul George right now is he's really hurting the Pacers by announcing he's not going to re-sign, because now whoever they trade him to, they only get pennies on the dollar back because everyone knows it's a rental. It's not Paul George's business to help the Pacers. He wants to help Paul George, and he knows if he makes that announcement, that anyone he's traded to doesn't have to give up so much for him. Therefore, he's not going to a team that had to deplete itself in order to get him. The Lakers are going to be able to sign him, likely, not necessarily, it is a risk, but likely going to be able to sign him without giving up any players in free agency. Why then would you give up your young assets to get him? Now, here's the one caveat, Stephen A. They signed idiotic deals with Luol Deng and Timothy Mozgov.
Yeah,
It was Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak's parting gift to Lakers fans to saddle them with an unnecessary salary cap problem when they had tremendous flexibility.
Yep.
If the Lakers can unload one of those contracts and include an asset that they don't love to get Paul George, fine. In other words, there's always the right deal to be made.
Yep.
But if instead what they're looking for, what Indiana's looking for, are valuable assets from the Lakers that the Lakers do not want to move, you do not make the trade right now. It doesn't make sense.
You're all over the place, but why am I surprised by that? Here's the reality of the situation.
In one place, the right place.
You haven't been in one place, and it's not the right place. And by the way, you usually have 3 or 4 right places, and you don't even know which right way to pick. So
Damn.
just listen and learn. The Los
It's all the
Angeles
right place.
Lakers,
It just
27.
sounds like it to you.
I'm trying to make a point. Don't hide. Let me make my point. The Los Angeles Lakers, over the last 4 years, 27 victories in 2013, 2014. Then after that, 21, 17, and 26 victories in a season. You are sitting here and having a conversation about how they're not going to compete with the Warriors or beat the Warriors. Excuse me, how about them competing with the Phoenix Suns and others first? Let's not even get to the Warriors. You ain't even in that stratosphere. The important point for the Los Angeles Lakers is to gain respectability again.
Yep.
To remind somebody that this is
Wrong.
a coveted destination. And not only that,
How is that
you
wrong?
made my point for me, because your point goes right out the window. The second you say Paul George is a max player, probably that would be him coming up short because he's great and he's a max quality player.
Yep.
Well, if you're great and you're a max quality player, those are the kind of players you're trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, if the Lakers can get Paul George, get him. Because you don't want any surprises next year if he wants to, say, well, maybe the Lakers aren't a good fit, or maybe the Lakers aren't a good team to go to. So you just want to get Paul George right now, get him on the team, get him ready to go, and just him gaining experience. Paul George and the Pacers had this coming for a while because they didn't get him any help. The core that he did, they just let him go. And, so Paul George, I don't blame him for leaving. And the Pacers, they're in a bad situation right now. Even if they try to trade Paul George for some assets, they can't even do it now because his trade value just went down tremendously. Unless there's some idiot team that thinks that Paul George is going to re-sign with them. There's no one going to trade for Paul George. Paul George is just going to have to stay in Indiana for this last year. It's going to be a lot of controversy, a lot of the fans, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be sad. I won't be surprised if the fans boo him. But, yeah. But thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you like this, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.